Something is about to happen in your life that will feel like loss, but is actually the most precise and protective intervention the universe has ever executed on your behalf. A relationship, a partnership, an alliance, a bond that has been part of your story is coming to an end. And before the pain of that landing fully registers, you need to understand something that changes everything about how you interpret this moment. This ending was not caused by failure. It was not caused by your unworthiness. It was caused by something far greater than either person involved deciding that what is coming for you cannot arrive while that connection remains in place. In all of spiritual history, across every sacred text, every divine archive, every record of souls who are called to carry something significant into the world, there is one pattern that appears without exception before every major elevation. Pruning. The vine that is about to bear its greatest fruit is always cut back first. The tree that is being prepared to withstand great weight is always stripped before it is strengthened. Every soul who has ever walked into their true destiny has first experienced the removal of something they loved, something they believed was permanent, something they had built part of their identity around. This is not cruelty. This is the oldest and most precise form of divine preparation in existence. Think about how you have changed in the last season. The things that mattered to you 2 years ago no longer carry the same weight. The conversations that used to feel stimulating now feel shallow. The version of you that entered this relationship or alliance is not the version of you that exists today. You have been quietly outgrowing this connection for longer than you have been willing to admit. And there was a moment recently, perhaps private and unspoken, where you felt it. A subtle but undeniable sense that something had become misaligned. That feeling was not doubt. That feeling was discernment. And the universe heard it and began moving on your behalf immediately. Both divine and darker forces have been monitoring this connection closely. The forces aligned against your elevation understood before you did that this relationship was becoming a ceiling rather than a foundation. They worked to keep it intact, to keep you emotionally invested, to make the misalignment feel normal, to make the comfort of familiarity feel like a reason to stay. But divine intelligence was simultaneously tracking the drift, measuring the distance between where this connection was leading and where your true assignment required you to go. What is about to break was being held together by habit, history, and emotional loyalty while the universe was preparing the cut with surgical precision. Times when you tried to speak truth into the relationship, even when it was unwelcome. Situations where you could have compromised your values to preserve the peace and chose instead to hold your ground. There were nights you stayed when leaving would have been easier, not out of weakness, but out of genuine love and loyalty. And there were mornings you prayed for clarity when confusion would have been more comfortable. Every one of those moments was a trial passed, a confirmation recorded, a signal sent upward that you were ready for what the separation would make possible. There is a celestial classification reserved for souls who love deeply, commit fully, and still manage to maintain their divine alignment, even when the people they love begin pulling in a different direction. It requires extraordinary inner strength to remain rooted in your purpose while simultaneously honoring a bond that is slowly becoming incompatible with that purpose. You have been operating at that level throughout this connection without receiving any external recognition for it. The beings who monitor soul development across lifetimes have classified you as someone who can be trusted to survive a necessary separation without becoming bitter, without closing your heart, and without losing faith in what is coming next. At the precise moment this connection began its final drift toward completion, God did not look away. The archangels assigned to your protection and your destiny were present in every conversation that felt slightly off, every moment of unexplained distance, every quiet evening where something unspoken sat between you and the other person like a gentle warning. Michael was already standing at the threshold of what comes after, holding space for your next chapter. Raphael was preparing the healing for a wound that had not yet fully formed. The heavenly record shows that this separation is not being allowed to happen to you. It is being orchestrated for you with full divine awareness and complete intentional care. A decree has been issued. The universe is not removing this connection as punishment for either soul involved. It is removing it as an act of profound love and precise navigation. From this moment forward, the space created by this separation is being filled with something that carries deeper alignment, greater safety, and a more accurate reflection of who you have become and who you are still becoming. The divine intelligence that has been watching this connection drift knows exactly what it is making room for, and what is coming to fill that space was held back specifically because the current connection occupied the frequency where it needed to land. The clearing is the blessing. You are not someone who simply lost a relationship. You are an ancient soul who has been divinely redirected away from a path that would have cost you something far more valuable than the comfort of familiarity. The pain of this separation is real, and it deserves to be honored. But underneath the pain is a truth your soul already knows. You are not built for a connection that required you to shrink, to wait, to compromise the trajectory of your true assignment. You are a celestial warrior, and warriors cannot afford alliances that quietly drain the energy required for their mission. What is breaking away was never meant to be permanent. It was always meant to be a season. Your mission in the next chapter requires both hands free. It requires emotional availability that has been partially occupied. It requires creative and spiritual energy that has been quietly redirected into maintaining something that was no longer growing. Your assignment going forward is to move into your next season without the weight of a connection that belonged to a previous version of you. You are being sent into spaces that require your full presence, your complete focus, and the kind of open-hearted availability that only becomes possible after a necessary ending. The work you are being called to do, the people you are being called to serve, the impact you are being called to make, all of it requires the version of you that this separation is in the process of producing. Because this separation is divinely orchestrated, the material world is already beginning to reorganize around the space it is creating. Financial opportunities that were quietly blocked by the misalignment of this connection are beginning to move. Creative energy that was being unconsciously spent on maintaining emotional equilibrium within a strained bond is returning to you. New relationships of genuine soul resonance are already in motion toward your life, calibrated specifically to the version of you that emerges from the season. The universe does not create a vacancy without preparing a provision. Every door this separation closes is being answered by a door already unlocking elsewhere that fits who you actually are now. You will not have to explain this separation to everyone who watches it happen. The people with discernment will see the shift in your energy and understand that something necessary occurred. New souls entering your life in the next season will meet a version of you that is clearer, more grounded, more fully present than you have been in a long time. Old friends will notice a likeness returning. Strangers will feel safe with you, faster than feels normal. The frequency you reclaim through this ending will become a transmission that others receive without knowing its origin. The love you gave in this connection was not wasted. It was tuition for the depth of connection that is coming. You are not the only soul currently navigating a necessary ending. Across this world right now, thousands of chosen ones are experiencing the divine pruning of connections that no longer align with their evolving destiny. They are grieving what feels like loss while standing at the threshold of the most aligned season of their lives. They carry the same soul signature as you, deeply loyal, profoundly loving, willing to fight for connection, and they are all being redirected simultaneously toward something safer, truer, and more resonant with who they have become. You will find them, not through searching, but through the unmistakable recognition of two souls who have both been through the fire of a necessary ending and came out refined. If something in this reached the part of you that has been quietly grieving a connection you already know is ending, COMMENT 777 below to declare that you receive this separation as protection and not as punishment. Share this with someone who is in the middle of a painful ending and cannot yet see the divine hand in it. They need to know that what is breaking away is making room for something better. Subscribe, because the next message in this series speaks directly to what comes after the separation, what fills the space, and what the aligned connections of your next season will feel and look like. And stay until the very end, because the most important word in any transmission is always the last one.